Guys, today we'll be looking at how to cut a funnel skirt. So I'll be using this Ankara fabric. This is like a yard and a half Ankara fabric. This a yard and a half is just to cut the pencil part of the skirt, while I'll use 1 yard extra to cut the funnel part. So for you to get this skirt, you measure the length you want your skirt to be. That's from your waistline, and
waist length we're working with is 26 inches. But for the pencil part, I'll measure from my waist to my knee, which is 22 inches. So that 22 inches, you will not mark exactly on the 22 inches. You have to minus 3 inches from the 22 inches. If you don't minus 3 inches, the person will not be able to walk properly. The skirt will become too tight on the knee area. So we'll be using 19 inches for our pencil skirt, for the pencil part of the skirt. Then the rest of the measurements will be used for the flay part of the skirt. You just subtract the 19 from the 26 inches.
Okay, from my waistline here, I'll come down by 9 inches for my hip line. Just mark 9 inches for hip line. Then I'll insert my measurement. My waist I'm working with is 32 inches. Divide by 4 will give me 8 inches. So I'll add 2 inches extra for allowance and 1 inch for that. Okay, on the hip line, I'll take my hip measurement. The hip I'm working with is 42 inches. 42 divided by 4 will give me 10.5. 10.5 here plus 2 inches. Okay, while on my lower part of my skirt, I wouldn't want it to be too pencil in order for me to walk, my client to walk freely. So if it's too pencil, since it's a funnel skirt, the lower part won't be that pencil. If it's too pencil, your client won't be able to walk properly. So we'll just minus 1 inch from my hip measurement. I'll take the measurement here, including the allowance, which is 13 inches, minus 1 inch will give me 12 inches. So I'll just mark 12 inches here. I'll be adding any allowance to it. So I'll just connect it together. The waistline to my hemline. So this is what I'm having. So I'll just connect it neatly with my ruler. Okay. So I'll just cut this out. Okay, for my front skirt, it will be having a kind of slope because the waist part is always lower than the back part because of the butt. So on this center part, I'll come down by 1 inch. You can come down by 1 inch or half an inch. Then I'll connect it to this point. Please avoid the line. All the measurements start from the line. So that's what I'll just do. I'll just connect it like this. You can just go. Okay, so this is what I'll be using. So I'll first of all cut this part out, then I'll slant it to this end for my waist slope. So this slope will be only at the front part because you know the butt will drag your skirt down. So by the time you reduce this one, the back will be higher than the front, which will give it a perfect balance. Okay, the back of the skirt will not be having a slope, but it will be having a zipper. That 1 inch you cut out for the front part, you add it up at the back part. This is the exact 1 inch. Then like about 1.5 inches for zipper allowance. Then I'll just cut it out using same length. But for the back part, you just place your front and you leave about 1.5 for zipper allowance. So I'll just trim out the length like this. And I'll open the zipper allowance. I'll notch my zip area to 1.5 inches. Then I'll also cut it off here at this upper part. Okay, so this is what I'm having for my front and back panel. You can see. So what we do now, we'll be cutting the lower part of the funnel skirt, which is the play part. So this is about 1 yard of Ankara fabric. This is a 2-step flay skirt. So this is the first step. I'll just fold my fabric into 2 and into 4 again. Okay, I just minus 2 inches from my hip measurement. My hip measurement is 42 inches. Minus 2 will give me 40 inches. That 40 inches, you divide it by 6.28 and you take the circumference. But if you want it to have a little pleat, you divide by 4 inches. So 40 divided by 4 inches, I wanted it to have a little pleat, like a little form of gather at the play area. So what I'll be using is 10 inches. It's a 2-step peplon. So I'll use 10 inches for the circumference. I'll just mark 10 inches all around and connect the lines together. Okay, then my first peplon will be like 5 inches. So I'll mark 5 inches plus seam allowance. I'll be marking 5.5. So 5.5. I just mark 5.5 on my peplon. 5 inches. So I'll mark 5 inches all around. So I'll just mark 5 inches. That's from the 10 inches line I marked out earlier on. So I'll just mark 5 inches. Okay, so I'll just connect the lines together. Let me make my chalk visible enough. Sorry for the color of chalk I'm using. So this is the first step. I'll be using a doll face satin for the second step of my peplon. So I'll just go ahead and cut the first step. The second step will be 2 inches longer than the first step, but the circumference will be same 10 inches because I want to have a little pleat at the lower part. That's why I divided by 4. If you don't want it to have a pleat at all, you divide by 6.28. You minus 2 from your hip measurements and you divide whatever you get by 6.28 if you want it to be exact circumference. But if you want to have a little pleat or gather, you divide by 4. My second step will be like 7 inches. So I'll cut this out now.
Okay, after cutting the first peplon, you just use sewing method to cut the second step of your peplon skirt. When you cut out, you just attach it to the pencil skirt. It's very easy and you fix your zip and shaping your skirt. If you find this tutorial helpful in any way, please make sure you like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much and God bless you. See you in my next video. Bye bye.